Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today's video going to be taking a look at the championship challenge that is coming out Saturday. It starts around, I think it's like 9 AM at BST time, so only a few days away. Going to be teaching you guys how to go for every single map. There's actually 3 new maps in the pool, so I've scrimmed it a little bit, got used to the maps, and I'll be showing you guys how to play them. So definitely stay tuned for that, because that's going to be really interesting to see what kind of meta is on these maps, because the meta has changed within the heist map and the bounty map. They're a little bit different, and so is the siege as well. All 3 of the maps that came out are really different, so definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're just going to be showing you all the comps, all the strategies, what I've found out so far. So definitely subscribe if you're new around here. Definitely be doing more of these, and especially now that I've quit my job recently, so I'm doing this full time. I'll be making a lot better quality videos, pushing to #1 soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But let's jump into the first map, which is Minecart Madness. Alright, before we just start talking about the comps and the strategies, just a quick note on, well, recently, a few hours ago, Supercell actually did notify everyone that instead of tokens, so it's for every single 1 and 2 win in the sets, you'll be getting tokens to equivalent figures to like a big box or something. But instead of that, it's going to be changed to star points. So, and then there'll be the offers in the shop, but I imagine it's going to be some sort of boxes that you can buy with these star points, which is a bit of a weird change. I did like the big boxes. You'd get around 10 big boxes if you got all 15 wins, so it was actually really good, especially for my mini accounts. It's really good for progression, but we'll see anyway. It's definitely a good change maybe. But yeah, jumping into the comps on this map, as I said before, and as I say on every single one in the first set, but the first set is really easy. You're going to be facing really bad comps, really bad players, so I wouldn't stress about comps too much. These are the best comps if you're going to be looking to play them competitively, but as I said, the choices, you can just literally use anyone as long as you're good with that brawler. Right guys, so talking about kind of comps and strategies on Minecart Madness, as I said, the main point to take from the first set is that you're not going to face the best players. You're probably facing a lot of like Jesse, Tanks, Shellys, that kind of really bad comps, Pennies. You'll be facing a lot of that. So my advice, if you've got Sprout, 100% Sprout is the brawler that you need for sure. Sprout is completely broken right now. He's good in every single mode, and as a mid, you can actually help the lanes as well. You can literally just run around rampant with Sprout, because you can shoot all lanes at any point, and it's really easy to hit these shots as well. But if you haven't got Sprout, I've listed the comps before, so if you took a screenshot or just go back in the video, you'll see you can use either a Piper mid. Piper's really good mid if you've got good aim. You can use a Gene mid, you can use a B mid, you can use Poco mid. It's up to you guys really. As I said, you're not going to face the best opposition. Maybe if you've not got Sprout, maybe use a B, because you're going to be facing a lot of tanky brawlers, so definitely keep that in mind, guys. And then normally when playing competitive, we like to go a BB with shield on the side. BB shield's definitely better than the bat. I think, no, it's not bat and stance, it's a home run one. It's better than the speed one, just because you're going to be tanking a lot more. You're going to be using your shield just to hang around walls. You're not going to be like sprinting up into the enemy face a lot because of the minecarts, but you're going to be using that shield to just keep bumping back. But if you really want to stomp people, I recommend definitely using the Poco comp. I say it about a million times, but the Poco comp, especially with the Jackie and maybe even a Rosa, because he gets such good value, even a BB, depends on what you prefer, but that kind of comp's just going to stomp so many different teams, especially if an enemy's got a Sprout. The biggest counter to Sprout is going to be the tanky brawlers, and you're just constantly healing over and over again. Sprout's not going to be able to do anything, so definitely recommend doing that. And also a good tip on Minecart, as you can see in this gameplay, you can't see the mushrooms at the start, so that means they've got first minecart. That's always going to be a good thing to notice, because normally that means the enemy team are going to get the early pressure. But if you have minecart, you can play a lot more aggressively, get that early position, and it's kind of crucial on this map for sure. But as I said, you can use so many different brawlers. This one's just literally personal preference. Just use what you feel comfortable with, but definitely the best options, I'd say, if you've got a Jackie as well, definitely run a Jackie. Jackie in the lane's a solid choice. She's not going to be countered by many brawlers, other than maybe like a BB that's going to be knocking her into the train. But Jackie, a solid choice. Definitely give her a go if you haven't already. And then, as I said, it's just, you don't have to actually try too hard. You can just chill out, use the, definitely find a team. And even with randoms, you could even complete this in the first 3 rounds, because it's not too hard. Okay, into the second set now. It's going to be penalty kick, Brawl. So penalty kick is a decent map, especially with the Poco comps. I definitely love them compositions. That's going to be the best by far. And if you got Sprout, obviously use that if you can. But the main one to take from this one, as you can see in the graphic, literally every single one by a couple. I would have actually put her in every single one. Is Jackie. Jackie's so vital on this map. There's so many little choke points. You can just use her gadget to get into people's faces. She's so broken right now, and definitely give her a try. Alright, so jumping into penalty kick Brawl Ball then. So the number one comps I would recommend is going to Poco and the tankier comps, just because it's going to be beating the Jean. Jean hasn't got the damage to keep up, and the same with Sprout. Really, they haven't got the damage to keep up with the constant Poco healing. He's got 3 different types of healing, so you definitely need to be running that. And the number one, you 100% need Jackie inside of a composition, just because of how tanky she is. You can use that gadget to get some easy goals, and it's really hard to stop her, especially on this map, so definitely give her a try. And my personal favourite, I like using Frank, because Frank counters like all the different tanks. He's got a lot of HP, he pairs really well with Poco, so I absolutely love using Frank. And Frank actually counters, as I said, the like Jackies, the Roses, the different kind of brawlers you see with that. So that's one of the main reasons why I love Poco and Frank so much. But talking about the kind of overall strategy, again, I need to stress that these kind of early rounds, the simpler modes, everyone knows Brawl Ball and Gem Grab really well, and as long as you're using your kind of comfort brawlers, it's not going to be too hard for sure. But I definitely recommend, as the comps I put before, you can use either your mids. You've got 3 different mids that you can choose from. You can choose a Sprout, you can choose a Poco, you can choose a Jean. It's personal preference. I mean, a lot of the times I'll be either going the Poco or Jean, just because in Scrim Sprout is normally banned because of how annoying and toxic he is. Like, you just literally block off so many different parts of the map with his super. It's just so annoying. It's so broken right now. But yeah, as I said, the kind of strategy for this one is going to be playing with your sides as much as possible. So if you're a Poco, you're just going to want to be sitting behind the tanks as much as possible, making sure they're constantly alive. Not want to be wasting your shots too much on actually hitting the enemies. You want to be trying getting as much value as possible. So shooting through your teammate, trying to hit the enemies, try use the good get good uses of your gadget, and definitely good uses of your super as well. But it's definitely recognizing how much you can tank with one of the brawlers and how much healing a Poco does. And then with Jean, it's the same again, using the magic puffs style power. You want your teammates to stand near you, so whether you're using like a Shelly, whether you're using like a Daryl or something that or even a Spike or a Jackie, someone you can pull towards you. You want to be constantly in sync with that teammate. You want to be if you're a Jackie, you want to be staying near your Jean as much as possible, waiting for a pull, getting that healing. It's definitely vital to stick together. And then obviously if you're a Jean, you want to be pulling into them type of brawlers, but you can be aggressive because of that super. It's one of the main reasons why you're going to be winning games, is because you can just clutch up so many different situations with that super. But this map again, it's a really weird map, one of my least favorite Brawl Ball maps, and as long as you're just using brawlers that you're comfortable with, again, you're going to be having a good time for sure. And as I said, I don't really like, people are probably wondering why have you picked Ems so high. It's not really the best map for Ems. I mean, if you're good at Ems and you like using her, just use her. She's broken brawler, so you're going to be winning anyway. But as I said, not really too much to really talk about. As long as you're using the find a team feature, as long as you've got a team to work by, you're going to be having a good success rate. And as long as you're taking these comps into consideration, you're going to be having a really good time. You're going to be getting past these first rounds in a breeze. Right, now this is where things start to get interesting. So the third set, this is where your opponent's going to start getting better. But especially with a new map in Crossroads Heist, as you can see by this, by the comps, definitely take a screenshot of these. But at the same time, as long as you're using a Colt and a Brock, you're going to have a decent success rate. But I'll go through the strategy and what I found in scrims and what works the best. So let's just hop straight into it. Okay, so a new map and a new meta. As you guys can see, Colt and Brock, not really seen it a lot. It's a very long range map, so the meta's going to be completely different. But we played it wrong in the beginning here, so the way you want to be doing it, I'll show you in a later gameplay. But basically the way you want to be doing it is, my advice, using you're going to be using the Colt and Brock to go on to the high safe. They're going to be just fully focused on the attack side of things. Maybe at the beginning I'll show you guys when I do it, but at the beginning maybe defend a little bit, break some of the walls up. But you're going to mainly want to be focusing on the offense side of things, just because you want to be leaving one to defend. So that's going to be like the B, or one of the other brawlers that I mentioned. Comps B is definitely going to be the number one, but you can use like a Piper, you can use Daryl, Spike, you can use so many different brawlers. Even a Jackie, I actually found some good use of it, because you just want to be keeping them back as long as possible. It don't even matter if you're killing them really, as long as you're keeping them back from doing damage. Even just using your presence of keeping them back just so they're not shooting at your safe. It's one of the #1 tips I'd recommend. But yeah, with the Brock and the Colt, you're going to be aiming for their high safe as long as possible. There'll be one person defending on their side of things if you're facing a good team for sure. Whether that be like a tank, whether that be a long range brawler. There's going to be so many different brawlers that you'll see in this, just because a lot of people don't really know the meta at the minute. I mean, I've only just discovered what it was kind of like on this heist map, because it's so different to any other heist map. It's a long range one. It's a lot more fun than I realised, and a lot of people just think it's like a base race, but it's actually really strategic in the fact that two brawlers constantly on the attack, trying to kill the one defensive one, and then it's the same battle going on down the right hand side, so it's really quite fun. And if you're a good Colt, you're going to be having a lot of fun, because Colt really isn't too good in the meta right now. He's decent in heist, but if you're a good Colt, you're going to be absolutely beaming on this map, especially with his star power with the longer range. I definitely recommend using that. That's going to be the better one, and then using Incendiary as well. You're going to be having a really good success rate if you use them two brawlers for sure. So this is the strategy I was talking about in scrims. So you want to be sending the B all the way to the far right. Sending the Colt kind of mid, you want to be helping the B pinch, get that early positioning and break up your own walls. So basically the thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be trying to charge super, just kind of keeping them pinned back with the B there. The B is going to be really vital in defense, because you can actually defend a lot of long range brawlers as well as the tanky brawlers. So here I'm just going to literally waste my super and just break up some of the walls. So that's going to allow B to navigate the map really easily. Should have probably broke some more walls, but even if it's just wasting a super to do that with a Brock or a Colt, it's going to be really vital, because then B can defend really well. So it's one of the main reasons and the key to success on this map is just simply because of them walls. Once you break them, it's going to be a lot easier, and it's really annoying facing a Brock, for example, because you've got that gadget that can just keep hopping over walls consistently. So it starts the most important thing, and as long as the Brock's just constantly on the enemy's safe, the Colt's going to be helping on the defense just at the beginning, and then he can go up. But Brock is the most vital part of the attack just because of that gadget. As I said, he does insane damage. I think it's like 6 or 7% at least with the Incendiary star power as well. So that strategy right there is going to be the #1 strategy. But because these are the early rounds, you're probably going to be facing a lot of tanks, so definitely keep that in mind. So the fourth set is going to be Olive Branch, another new map into the map pool. So definitely, I've had a lot of fun playing this map. It's definitely the best out of the, I think it's 3 new siege maps that have came out. Don't really like the other ones, but this one's actually a decent one. But as you can see by the comps, again, Sprout is just going to absolutely dominate just because of his easy accessibility on shooting across all 3 lanes, especially on this map when the walls are up. For sure, Sprout's going to be the #1 choice. But definitely take a screenshot of this. I'll be going through the strategies. Okay, jumping into the strategies and the comps. This map I've not really played it too much. I've had a few scrims on it. I had a few mess abouts, and there's a lot of different brawlers that you can use. I've still not worked out like the full solid comp that you can use. On a lot of the siege maps, you just the generic comps is going to be the Jean, Barley and the BB. But this map's a lot different to the normal ones, as you can see by the 3 different lanes. I have lots of walls everywhere at the minute, but that's why I enjoy playing Sprout the most. The only good thing about Sprout is actually it doesn't have the DPS for defense, but you can use that wall to make the boss just delay and move so you have more time to take it down. And that's why, in my opinion, I don't really like Sprout too much. But if he's not banned, and obviously he's not banned in this case for sure, because it's literally no brawlers are banned in this, so Sprout's going to be the #1 pick. But if you haven't got Sprout, my advice is to use Jean. And then I always like, so in comps when you're using like the Penny, Brock, Sprout in this gameplay, I didn't really like it too much because it didn't have someone who can take down a boss really well. So normally in a comp like that, you want either like a BB, you want some sort of tank, you want a Daryl, you want a Pam, you want someone who can take the boss out, or even like a Jean that can pull the boss away. You want someone like that in your comp, just because it's really hard to actually attack in these comps. The defense is always going to be really good, but just because of how the walls are positioned. It's a really weird map, to be honest, and that's kind of why I like Brock, because you can open up the walls, you can just shoot enemies from afar, and that's definitely why I like Penny as well, because of the turret. You can use the turret to shoot over walls and whatnot. But the kind of comp that I've been looking forward to using the most is the if you're using like a Daryl or a Pam, as I said, because they're going to absolutely shred the boss on defense, and that's what you really need. And you need more of a tanky brawler, especially against if you're facing a Sprout, just because it's going to take you a long while to die, and you're going to be staying alive for much longer. But as I said, I've not really delved into the best comp for sure, but there's loads of different brawlers you can use to try them out, see which ones you're more comfortable with. But as I said, if you've got a Sprout, you're going to be using him mid. You can even use a Brock mid, you can use a Pam mid, a Jean mid. It's up to you guys, but there's a lot of different brawlers you can use, as I said. And then BB, you can never go wrong with BB. She's going to be collecting the bolts with the home run star power. You can use different tanks like Daryl, who's going to be dashing in constantly. And just a little bit more about strategy. So the way you want to be playing this map, especially, it's a lot different to the other ones, as I said before. But it's definitely, you definitely want to be playing it differently, because it's really hard to get damage on when you're attacking, unless you've got like a Brock or a Penny with turret with the last blast star power. You're not really going to be able to get too much damage. The kind of way you want to be playing this is either try and play it for the last round, and by that I mean maybe by letting your opponents get like the first or second siege bot, just so you guarantee yourself to get the last one, just because you're going to be wanting to go all in at the end and getting a lot of damage. But as I said, you want to be holding constantly. You don't want to be going in at any point in time unless they've got a really bad defense. For example, some people like use like a Jessie or something really bad that don't have a lot of damage and that can't take a boss out that quick. And then that's the best way to kind of notice the opportunity, especially when enemies are using them type of brawlers. That's the time where you want to go in a little bit harder and you want to do more damage to the Ike. But in any other case, when they've got a normal defense, so they've got like a Jean, they've got like a Brock, they've got a Pam or a Daryl, something like that to defend, you just want to be holding. You want to be holding your position, getting ready for the next round, because it's all down to that final siege bot. As I said, normally inside of siege games, because there's a Barley inside of the comp, you can literally end it in one push or two pushes. But on this map especially, Barley's not that good, just because you've got brawlers like Jean that are going to be pulling Barley really easily. Then you've got like tanks that Barley just can't take out that well. So I don't really recommend using Barley on this map especially. But that's one of the main reasons why you want to be holding for the end, is because you haven't got a Barley, you haven't got any immediate damage, just because of how awkward it is to shoot. But as always, siege, it's all about positioning, all about, you don't really have to be getting kills constantly over and over again. It's just about collecting the bolts, collecting more bolts as the other enemy, obviously. Okay, so the fifth and final set is going to be Heatwave Bounty. So as you can see, this is a much different map to the kind of generic bounty map. You've got the launch pads, which, to be honest, I thought it was a really bad idea, but not many people use it. It's not really, it's not good to use jump pads, just because enemies are going to be knowing where you are. You're going to be standing still as soon as you land as well. So take a look at these comps. I'll be going through the strategy in a sec. Alright, into the final set then. So this is going to be by far the hardest set, and especially with this kind of map. This was actually created because I think Supercell wanted like a heavy hitter kind of a map, so a map that was really dependent on tanks and whatnot. So this is what it was kind of based off. So you can see by all the grass, all the walls and whatnot. But from what I've found in scrims and playing it a bit recently, is that Jean is probably the #1 brawler I would assume on this map. Unless you guys can think otherwise, maybe Sprout, but I absolutely love Jean on this map. The amount of walls, the amount of wall peekings you can do with Jean is just really, really good. It's going to take you such a long time to break up all the map, all the grass. There's a lot of different choke points, so that's why I really like Jean on this map. It's definitely the #1 brawler, if not Sprout. But the way you want to be playing this is, in my opinion, you need like a Jackie or some sort of aggro to deal with a Sprout or an enemy Piper or something like that. Jackie's just really good because it just takes so long to take her down. She's got so much HP, so you can tank so much. You've got the 2 gadgets as well, so if you're hiding behind a wall and you notice an enemy's out position or is a bit weak, you can pop the gadget and just take them down. You can jump pad out. It's really crazy how much it favours a brawler like Jackie for sure. But the reason why I like Jean, I've not really had too much good use out of Piper. I just feel like there's a lot of walls at the beginning for Piper to do really well. So as Jean, you can actually play really aggressively on this map. You can kind of get into their faces. You can use the Spirit Slap star power, or you can use the Magic Puffs. It's up to you guys what you prefer, but Jean on this map, I really enjoy it because you can play aggro, you can get pulls really easily by yourself. So another thing I would recommend, if you've not got a Sprout, a lot of people don't have a Sprout, so a lot of people complain when I'm making these kind of comp videos that they haven't got a Sprout, but Sprout's just so good, you definitely need him if you've got him. But if you haven't got him, as I said, I've spoke about for a few minutes now about how good Jean is, you want to be using the kind of Poco comp. So If you guys don't feel comfortable playing a Gene, if you don't feel comfortable using a Sprout, you've got the Poco option again. So the number one brawler you have to use within this composition is going to be Jackie, because she's just insane right now. She has so much hit points. She can just 2 or 3 tap squishies, and you're going to be able to stay alive for so long with her. So definitely recommend her as a number one pick alongside Poco. And then it's kind of up to you guys. I like a Rosa combined with a Poco because you can create even more bushes, which was just add to even more chaos. And then you can have like a BB if you want, or something along those lines. But as I said, the other pick that I really like, Brock's obviously the king of bounty, as you guys seen in my video before. But Brock is just solid on every single bounty map, and if you send him down the left arm lane, I would advise doing that for sure. You can work either lanes, but send him in on the right hand side, because you're going to have the grass at the beginning. I was looking at the video then, the grass was broken, but sending Brock down that right, you're going to have really good choke points. You're going to be able to have a really long line of sight, but Brock's literally perfect brawler for bounty. You've got his gadget, you've got his super that breaks walls, you've got his long line of sights, you've got either star powers to use his 4th rocket or his Incendiary. You're going to be doing absolutely ham, and not many brawlers really counter Brock because he's got that jump, as I said, to get away from the kind of aggro brawlers. You've got just so many things working for Brock, but as I said, this is a much different map from before. You can play it. I would advise playing it next to your teammates as much as possible, especially if you're facing a really aggro comp. You want to be sticking together. The Jackie's going to be the one that's going to be the aggro. She's going to be the one that's going to be in the other enemy teams it faces, and then you two support brawlers are just going to be taking them down from a distance. Okay guys, this is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys took away a lot. I know recently I've not really actually delved into the new free maps too much, so I mean, as we go on, I'll learn the meta a lot more, but it's kind of hard to learn the meta on a new map in a few days. It's always changing. It takes a while to get a map fully locked down, but I hope you guys actually took some good advice so far in scrims and whatnot. Them kind of comps have been working, so definitely try them out. Let me know down in my comment sections or any social medias how you get on with the challenge this weekend. Definitely last time a lot of people said the last video was really helpful, so I hope you guys learned a lot from this. As I said, let me know down in the comment section below what videos you want to see from me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all later.